Okay, so today we'll do friends and foe. And really I've just got a list of names of people who you'll have come across in your life. Looking for views on these people, but also, I suppose, stories that you could tell about these people, situations you may have been in with these people. There might be a little bit of repetition from maybe some of the stories we've already talked about, but essentially just, talk about it. There might be people who might say, well, I haven't really got a great deal to say about that person, but I just think if we can get an overall idea of what you think of, a lot of these people, and the circumstances that came in. Doesn't have to be in any order. So we'll start off with Tam McGraw, the licensee.
Tam McGraw, licensee. First time I ever heard his name was in conjunction with me looking for a move for a different part of Glasgow because of the problem with a police station called D Division.
Yeah.
And this is where all the audio tapes were sectioned, and most of all the police officers, there was 2 police officers based in D Division who were subject to the secret tape recordings, the threats to kill, the planting of drugs and all the rest of it. When I got out in 1989-90, Tom Bagan was a friend of mine who had said, we'll get you over to our side. And getting us over to his side meant going over from the northeast to the East End. I'm very familiar with the East End. I stayed in the East End with my sister many, many years ago. But by that time I had a young boy, young Paul, and my partner at that time was Anne-Marie. So I had to take her away. Anne-Marie was still, to this day, she still got psychological problems with Heart and Lassie. So moving away to another area in Glasgow, I thought would have solved the problem. And driving in, for the first time, I heard the name Tam McGraw. It was for Tam Bagan. And Tam Bagan, his words he said to me personally was, there's a character over here, Tam McGraw. Watch what you're fucking doing with. If he ever comes across as you for anything, he's a snitch, he's a police tout. He's one for watching. And that was the first time I've had the name. And as probably said it as we drove past the area where he stayed. So it was always my mind. The locals being the assistants. We got a house in Ballarnock. And then Tam McGraw's name crops up again on a situation in which somebody tried to assassinate Tam Bagan on a motorbike, and Tam Bagan is well up for it. So he chased this guy on a motorbike, and the guy's eventually fucked off. And 2 nights later, an unbelievable coincidence happened where my partner Anne-Marie, Tam Bagan's wife at that time, and Bobby Glover's sister was going into a nightclub. You've been familiar with nightclubs, Steve.
Yeah.
We'll know exactly where I'm coming from. We don't look for any preferential treatment. We don't go into nightclubs. If we did, it was obviously to look for somebody. It wasn't for a night out. We were always busy when we were active like that. But the women, they had done a couple of pubs. They went and visited somebody's birthday. I can't remember what the occasion was, but it was enough to see them going out and enjoying themselves. Not to get abused at the door. Just a group of people who were supposed to be stewards. The early days of the bouncers, the big guys,
Yeah.
Next thing I get a phone call after you go and see Tam Bagan. Goes up to see Tam, Bobby Glover's there. Tam's ranting and raving about get this fucking Drew Drummond. Drew Drummond's the guy who owned the club. That's our woman, we shouldn't be treated like that. They fucking know us. Our women should be getting looked after, going into any club. And I'm thinking, That's fucking... It's right. Just was supposed to be friendly with each other. Steve, it's not a great distance away from where we were staying. You know, you're talking maybe a mile, 2 mile.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't leaving part of the city, going into city centre, somewhere we don't know people. Right. So anyway, I'm sitting thinking, right, we have to go and get this guy Drew Drummond, me and Bobby, and pick this guy Drew Drummond up and take him up to Tam Began for Tam to talk to him about his wife, and I have to sit in the car with this guy and keep my mouth shut about my wife. It's not happening. I never told Bobby it's not happening. I just went with the flow. But Drew Drummond's allegedly put a couple of people away. So he's a handicap, and when you're not physically on a match, you need an equaliser. Some people call it biscuits, other people call it Sheffield, call it what you want. I had a biscuit, maybe I had a bit of Sheffield on me as well, just to make sure. But this guy came out the club, full tuxedo. At the time I was driving an XR3, Bobby's the passenger seat, so in Bobby's side at the back. As we're driving away, where are we going? No, what I done was I took a detour because I wanted to talk to him. I never took him right back to it. I took a detour, and basically it was going right along a big main road called Edinburgh Road, and I was intending to stop and turn round and head back and say my bit. And I'm not keeping my mouth. It's impossible for me to keep my mouth shut in the car with my wife. Bobby's sister, fair enough, it's his sister, it's still fucking one of his female members of the family. But to get ordered out to go and get this guy, for us to keep quiet, me personally, it's my fucking partner, to keep quiet to take him up for somebody to wave a finger at him. No. So what I heard behind me was, how far are we going? And I've turned the music down and I've looked back and went, how fucking far do you want to go? And turned the music back up again. Now, I went onto the motorway and he said something else, and I kept turning the music down, music back up. He was fidgeting back. I know he carries. Now, even though I've got something on me, I'm driving, it could still be potentially fucking lethal. So, as we're driving along this motorway at 70 mile an hour, maybe a wee bit more, because he thinks, in his head, this is what we find out later, in his head, he thinks he's going to this nature reserve, Strathclyde Park, to get thrown in the water with one in the back of the head. Decides to pull the handbrake on in the motorway. Now, if I leave it for what it is, Steve, I've got to perform an emergency stop. I've got to hit the front brake to stop it spinning. And I've got to use my weight for here in a sitting position to lift the cunt up, and to lift them up and try and get this down and keep control of it at the same time. And while I'm doing all this, he's leaned over and fucking opened the passenger door and dived out. Now by this time I've been footside laying, the handbrake's on, screeching. Well, I know what I'm doing, Steve. I'm bringing the car to a sensible halt. He's dived out at maybe 30 mile an hour. The car's not even stopped yet. So he's what jumped to it and went ba-bum, ba-bum, and then disappeared down this embankment. And just as we sat and looked, me and Bobby's astonished, right? Looking, going, fuck happened there? Because we know there's nothing happening to him, because we have a chat back up. As we're momentary thinking like that, who comes back up the embankment? Fucking Dickie. But this guy was right to Taylor's dummy, right out the fucking showroom window, right? He's came back up for this embankment. The fucking Dickie boys were in there. There's a big tear on one of his. Didn't look too clever, right? Sprinted across 6 lanes, a motorway, got to the other side and started shouting to Bobby, you fucking try to set me up. Oh, traffic can fly. You fucking... So he's not... We hear what the flavour is, but we don't know what... Well, fuck it about this. And so that's the sort of thing you had to... He never even looked. He could have got hit with fucking something running across, right? And all we were asked to do to take him up. So I goes up to Tam Bagan's house, and he's going, where's... I said, well, he jumped to it. I'm explaining, he jumped to it, the motor. Jumped to it, the car on the motorway after pulling the handbrake. He's going, that's a two-seater. I went, I know. Fucking leaned over Bobby and took a dive for it. I said, and I couldn't help still laughing, Steve. I laugh not because it's there, I laugh because I picture it in my mind. And there's a still, there's that still with him coming up going over the hill with the dicky boat. So eventually Tam does that. You're fucking kidding me, on. No, I guess a problem. He'll go in and tell that fucking McGraw, and we'll have a war on my hands, we'll ask that. So, well, fuck him and all. What's this to do with? This is to do with women getting treated badly.
Yeah.
Your fucking wife, my partner, and Bobby's sister. So we've got to do this. And incidentally, do you think I was going to get down there and pick him up to drive him all the way up to you without talking to him first? What was happening to him? I said, nothing. Just took him for a drive and he freaked out. Better go to this. So I've jumped out the car and I said to Bobby, I said, when will get this McGraw cunt? Where will he be? I said, we're in at the pub. So we drive round to the pub. He comes driving in with Joe Hanlon. I never knew Joe at that time. I knew Paul, his brother. Joe's a boy that does the doors for him. Quite handy. South combination. Brilliant. Brilliant dancer as well. No, one of these black men with white skin.
Right. He's got rhythm.
He's got that. Aye. And he looks like an anthill mob. He always used to slag me when I tried to grow something. Go on, get that cow, get cow weasel. So he had the 3 o'clock shadow, and he can handle himself. Anyway, this Jeep pulls on. And that's the first I'd ever seen McGraw, spoke to McGraw, and I talked to him. I went, listen, you tell your pal to stop taking the magic mushrooms and freaking out. Yeah, fucking anything happens to me and this it's in a big rant. I went, look, when I put my hand on his shoulder, I said, see if I get this close, something will be happening. And Joe, he's looked at Joe, I went, Joe, it's got nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. One of his fucking gang have freaked out and jumped out the motorway after pulling the handbrake on, trying to do his own. Go and ask him what's fucking happening. Joe get us fucked because he knew. Joe grew up knowing about me through his brother. So there was a kind of divide there where, I'll do your door, don't go up against him sort of thing.
Yeah.
McGraw's flattened and all the rest of it. So what transpires later on, I go in and sees Tam Vega and he's sitting going, this mob will be up to something. Because he stays one, but I stay in another. But
yeah.
So I thought, what happened? Oh, fuck knows. So anyway, I'm sitting in the house, Steve.
Just a test.
And we need. I need to go out the house because the kids in there. In his bed. My wife knows something's going down, but she doesn't. It's just one of the things you don't ask. My partner at the time, I wasn't married. My partner at the time, I'm married. So I goes out. I know the chapel across the road from where Tam Bagan stays. I know the land. I know the area. When you move in somewhere, you take a dog out and have a walk with it to show up that I had a dog. You take a dog out and see a variety of different vulnerabilities for your own place as well as others. And when I take a dog out, I heard boom. I know it's a firearm. I know the noise of a firearm. It's a big fucking caliber firearm. What I don't know is the guy jumped out the XR3, Tam McGraw and Joe Hanlon are in the graveyard test firing a 45 automatic. Because Joe's getting handed that to go in and sort out Tam Began and me. This only comes at a later stage when Joe tells me about it. So I've heard this boom, and I thought, right, fuck this, dug bank this, got the stuff on, sat, watched Tam Began says, because I need to make sure he's alright, because he was good enough to get me over there. You know, there was no kind of structure with me, Tam or Bobby. Tam was the oldest. Tam was kind of the wisest and done more time.
Yeah.
And had the respect. Bobby was his partner. And I was took on because they had to get me away from not only the cops but Thompson as well, because of all the things that's all been said that Tam Began was getting blamed for fitting Thompson's boy up, and so what the bollocks, it never happened.
Yeah.
So the Tam McGraw scenario kind of didn't get done too well for him. Because Joe defected at that time and then told us. And the whole point of it was, Joe's views was, he's in a graveyard with two grown men with a problem that's been handed a gun to him for him to, while we were talking, Joe's listening. Joe's wide, he knows.
Yeah.
Joe's clever, he knows what it's for. It's an auto-suggestion. I mean, he knows us and that sort of thing. Next thing, there you go, Joe, you do it. He gave her the back. She says, that'll be fucking right. So as I watched the Jeep coming in, seen Tuxedo Man. Obviously had a kit change as well as a suit change, and went up and just sat. And I'm sitting watching. Nothing happened. So after they went away, sat again. Next morning went up. You got a visitor? That thing came up last night. What she said? Wants to sort all this out. Good. I said, so how are you going to sort all this out? She said, I've told him, I told that fucking McGraw, to have all the bouncers done and lined up, and I'm taking my wife down to Point of it, like an ID parade. And he done it. He done it. He fucking done it. I'm there. Bang. Now Tam could fight. Tam's got a good right hook on him. So it was about 2 or 3 decked and a few kicked. You know what I mean? And it was turned around to Drummond and said, if that ever happens to my wife, Paul's missus, and Bobby's sister, you'll be getting fucking kicked about. And apparently McGraw was kind of shaking to the core when he heard that. So that's the first I heard his name.
Yeah.
I then had an occasion to go and get Anne-Marie out the pub. Anne-Marie liked to be, I'd like to be drinking, honestly, but not at that time.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie liked to drink. I think she had her sister over or something like that. It's the only watering hole in the area.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not, well, you don't get a choice.
You've got to go there or you don't go out.
No, you can go somewhere else, go and get a bus.
Yeah.
Most people want to go walking distance and go for a fucking drink. They don't interested who owns it. All they're interested is, does it sell drink? Mm-hmm. Is there music? Is there lights? No, there's a bar, there's an off licence, and there's a big function suite, there's a big, well, they used to have a 4 o'clock licence, believe it or not, Steve.
Right.
Sick cracker. Fucking city centre, shot at the 3. Fucking unbelievable. So anyway, in order to buy cigarettes in the place, you need to get the vending machine in the bar. Well, the bar's closed. But because it's Anne-Marie, the girls know Anne-Marie, she's walked out the dance area, onto the main street, onto the main steps, to then go into the bar for it to get unlocked to buy her cigarettes. By chance, you could never script this. Outside is Tam McGraw, Tam Began, Joe Hanlon, Snadge Adams, and a few other people, or Stan and Charlton. A car screeches up and lobs a grenade at them. As Anne-Marie's coming out to gang its fucking cigarette, she doesn't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. Mm-hmm. There's a few, fuck yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what I think I'd probably been watching the wee one at that time. If that'd be right. Because I'm thinking, what would I have been then?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit obvious if Anne-Marie's no in, then I'm in.
Yeah.
You know? So, all this commotion's all started and fuck knows what. So when Anne-Marie comes in, she says, fucking, places, shut the place down, fucking, there's a big van there. And I'm trying to get her to describe what this van is. And she's telling me what this van is. I'm thinking, I've not fucking heard of this. Must be a new thing because I don't do it here. Maybe a wee bit of paranoia running away with me. Stevie, what is this new special fucking van? Isn't it? It's an army disposal vehicle. Right. Apparently what was thrown was a NATO issue fragmentation grenade. And had it went off, would have shredded everybody there. I think it was 1,000 piece or 1,000, whatever it is. They never pulled the pin out properly. What they should have done is stand out the vehicle, pull the pin out, count to three and then throw it. Mm-hmm. What they've done is pumped it for parts just. Fuck. Anyway, I get kicked for penalty, but nobody know. Unless you're in the military, you know what a grenade is. Apparently, it looked like a fucking aerosol with a thing on it. I never seen it, Stevie, but I know who picked it up. Tom Began. And flung it across the road into a primary school. But it's at night time. I'm saying a primary school, but it's night time. Mm-hmm. So they're all having a debate about, can I leave that fucking there? Who's going to go and get it and throw it into the graveyard where they should have thrown it? Because if it goes off, they're all dead anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, this happens to get thrown into the graveyard. Bomb disposal team came up, detonated it and all the rest of it. It was a live device. That's up to game a wee bit on the basis that here we've got my wife involved in two different fucking... I told her not to go to the other one after they get spanked anyway. Mm-hmm. Just on the fact that somebody happens to abuse the situation, Steve.
Yeah.
And go back and tell the man things and it all kicks off again. Mm-hmm. So she was barred for... Not barred, but...
Yeah.
Get down there. Stick to that one. If you're going to go anywhere. So then all of a sudden it was a case of McGraw had stated they threw that at us. He just declared himself fucking right into something. They threw that at us. So there's two sides. Mm-hmm. No, there's not. It's a dirty grass. Mm-hmm. I've been told it's a dirty grass before he comes in. Before I came into Palmer. And then during the course of this particular time as well, that was the key incidents. But the last time that I spoke to McGraw was on a situation where Tam had a bad time domestically. There was a few issues that me and Bobby didn't agree with, and there was a few issues that me and Tam didn't agree with. This came to the attention of McGraw. It came to a situation, Steve, I thought the wee bit of loyalty thing and all the rest of it was just, I'm just doing my own thing now. I had a bit of money put by, I gave Joe. I became friendly with Joe. Joe was a nice guy. He was always talking to me, his brother Paul Hunt. I spent most of my young teenage life in prison with his brother. Mm-hmm. So Joe knew who I was. Yeah. He was a friend within a camp that would tell his brother everything. He told me. And that's how we got to know a lot of things. So the best place to keep money is in a safe. Mm-hmm. Joe told me he's got a safe. He didn't tell me it was McGraw's safe in his fucking pub. So first time I was ever solo, Steve, as in doing my own thing, walking up this road to get hold of Joe, I find a tenner. And the significance of the £10 note is, it's mine. The whole lot is mine. I don't need half that. don't need to third that, don't even need to declare it. And I thought, I'll fucking keep that. That's symbolic. Until gets round to Joe's house looking for the money. Oh, I need to get in there and get it off of him. So we went to McGraw's pub to get the fucking money, and I'm not happy, and I'm saying, Joe, what are you doing? Get it him. Oh, he's the one with the safe. I went, you fucking told me at the start, I wouldn't have gave you. So he's brought the money out, said, do I need to count it? I went, no, if it's short, I'll come back. We need to do that. I said, well, you fucking asked a question, didn't you? No time for him, Steve. So he's obviously heard about the shenanigans between me and Tam Bagan and Bobby Glover. And Joe Hanlon's at the edge of the bar, and the bar's up like that, because he's had got the safe, got the money out. So he's facing me out the bar and going, I tell you what, we can get him took out like that. That's what he done. And I thought, took out like that? Somebody mentions that to me, Steve. They're talking about killing somebody.
Of course.
Right? And I'm thinking, whoa, fuck's sake. Disney merit that. I said, they need to fucking talk to kill people, fucking all that. He said, no. He said, two names to me. I'll get Bradley and Henderson that will stick smack in his car and we'll get him nicked. Just like, do you take sugar in your coffee tea? Or do you drink tea? Or do you smoke? You know, just so casual, so an off the cuff slip. Bradley and Henderson's two cops.
Yeah.
Right. Joe Hanlon sat and fucking listened to it. That's when I took my money and I went, listen, see when I moved out here, the first guy I got told about was you. And always keep an open mind on things that I've heard about everybody and anybody. There's an old saying, if you don't hear it, don't repeat it. If you see it with your own eyes, then you can believe it. And then you come into the black and white thing. Is it if you can see it in black and white? I used to love that until I read it about myself and thought, that's fucking wrong, that. You know, because the technology is there to ruin somebody's reputation or ruin somebody's good name or whatever. It can't ruin his own good name by repeating something stronger that I already get told. And I had repeated it to him, Steve, on my word. I said to him across the bar, I've heard everything about you, and everything I've heard about you is fucking true. It came from your own mouth. I don't need you or anybody else to sort my problems out. But I turned around and looked at Joe and I thought, you would be better doing a favour and get the fuck away from that rat. And walked out. And it was like, what do you mean? I said, you know what a fucking me. Taking people out like that. That's the last I ever spoke to him. And that's probably sums the guy up. Word for word. It's alright people telling you, Tam Bagan did tell me. And I was aware of that. But when somebody makes you aware of something, then you see it for yourself. Or in the event, he tells me this, and I've got to go and see Tam Bagan, which I had to do. We were sitting in the cottage bar. People all go, oh, what the fuck's going on there? And do you know what? I never told them. Because it's like stirring a pot. He said, she said, this and that, and all the rest. I knew what I was doing. You know, I just wanted my money and I'm going away.
That's good. Really good. Some good stuff there. Let's go on a different journey then. Talk about. Give your stories on Charlie Cray.
Charlie Cray?
Yeah.
Charlie Cray. First met Charlie Cray in Franklin Prison.
Yeah.
Charlie was, I think 18 years or 12 years ago, for a recording with an undercover cop talking about what he can get him and over how many periods of times he can get. There was never any cocaine. What they've done is calculated the tape value on what the presumption of what you can get. That's where the millions of pounds came into it. You know, and anybody that's familiar with the case will know it. But Charlie came in to Franklin and the same hospitality, I've got to say, was shown to me when I came in there with Stephen and Michael and all the other local boys. And it's nice to get that. It's not a case of there's a face and there's your meal and people hanging on like flies on shite, you know. So there was none of that there. Stephen and Michael were just normal guys. People knew who they were. It was their local. It's like me being in Ballini. You know, I'm the local boy there, so they're the local boys there. But they had something that wee bit special for them.
Yeah.
Especially with the cooking and the banquets. And so I met Charlie at a banquet in Franklin, and over the time getting to know him, I'm settled in, and he mentioned to me about, oh, you Scottish son, you've got a friend up there, Arthur Thompson, and I went, I said, did you know your friend was a prosecution witness against me, Charlie? He's like, you fucking kidding me? No. I said, see, the problem is, we was living that far away down there, you don't know what's going up here. And that good friend of yours, Charlie, stood in the witness box and said to the jury, we all know who killed my son. And he was a bit devastated, but because he believed in this myth, and there's no doubt that Thompson had a Craig connection. Yeah. Here you get Charlie Craig, the elder brother, confirming, talking about his pal because he's heard my accent. And that was probably the last couple of discussions we had about Thompson. We had a couple of discussions. Charlie was kept off work because he was ill. And then all of a sudden he was moved like that. Right out the job. For no apparent reason. None. None whatsoever. I think he was moved because he was being too protected, too well looked after by Stephen and Michael. You know, while we're at work, Stephen's on the pass, so he's getting Charlie out, and maybe the Screws felt a wee bit intimidated with, wow, we've got a... Charlie was a fucking legend, you know, irrespective of what his brothers were or whatever. And I'd never spoke to them, I never seen them. I can comment what I've read, you know, I can comment on other things. You know him better than me, Steve. But as far as Charlie Craig was going, Charlie was a real deal, absolute fucking gentleman. Absolute gentleman. Totally shocked with Thompson. No reason to disappoint, and he said something along the lines that, because he's seen me at the table with the bank, and he knows who Mike was, Stephen, and it was like, I know that must be true, son, because you wouldn't be saying that if you're knowing this company. And without sounding too disrespectful, I did say, just don't believe it because of the company, man. Believe it because I sat in the fucking dock, watched them. So they're not out. They're not out for that. But rather than getting into all sorts of politics and all the rest of it, my old friend Arthur Sutty knew Charlie. He knew them all. My old friend Arthur Sutty was probably the link for some of them ones to me. But Charlie, even Arthur wrote a letter to me. My mate's up there, and can you make sure he's like, give him a bit of tobacco and fucking this and that. And you did do it. But you're going to explain, this is not for me. Because you don't need that.